My guest tonight is a big fan of horror games, mostly Phasmophobia, and we're gonna dive deep into some more about his channel and what he plays mostly and what he's up to, how he got partnered on Twitch, and more. He's one of the amazing people that I met on the platform, and like honestly, even though it's like crowded there, but it's crowded with love, that's for sure. I'm happy to welcome hydrasung, and more than honored to tonight's episode of Twitch Tea Time.
Hey Blue,
Hi.
How's it going?
It's going. That's the first thing I ask my guests. How are you tonight?
Yeah, I'm doing well. It's 11 over here, so it's still
Morning.
daytime in California. But what's cool about Twitch is, it's so global. So we got friends from all over the globe, right?
I mean, yeah, I'm like in the epicenter of Earth, like the heart of Earth, in the Middle East. So yeah. So can you tell us more about your channel, like how you discovered Twitch and how you decided to become a streamer?
Yeah, so some quick background, I guess. I've always been a competitive gamer, so ever since I was a kid, what were the big games I've been playing before? Maybe played a lot of Counter-Strike before, was really into Dota, Warcraft 3, StarCraft, Diablo. Actually, a lot of the Blizzard games.
Oh, Diablo! I love this game.
I played most of the Blizzard games except for Overwatch, because Overwatch came later, right?
Oh yeah.
But I think my first foray into Twitch was I was trying to be very competitive in StarCraft 2, and Twitch had a pretty big StarCraft 2 scene, and I would go on and I would watch the pros play to try to copy them. Back then it was all about like watching the pro replays, seeing their build orders and that kind of thing. So always went onto Twitch to watch the pros and try to copy them and see what they're doing. But was never, on the streamer side. I think this was probably during college, so like the late 2000s, early 2010s kind of thing, back when StarCraft 2 was really big. And then once I started working, I started to build my own computers, because back in college I only had laptops, and like gaming off of a laptop is not the same, right? So I finally built some computers, but back then like PC parts were still kind of expensive. They weren't that good yet, so I was always buying like budget parts, so like Intel Core i3 CPUs and stuff, because it was good bang for my buck, right?
Yes, and the Pentium ones as well. The Pentium computers,
So I was always about good bang for your buck, like it's good enough to play games on medium or whatever. And then plus if you're playing like mostly competitive games and not like really beautiful looking story games, then you don't care about the graphics. You actually want to play everything on low, right? Like StarCraft 2, you were playing everything on low because you didn't want distractions. You don't want like explosions and things distracting you. You're just like trying to get down to business, basically. So from there, I never really got into streaming because my computer was never good enough, I guess. But I would watch periodically, and then I was just a gamer, basically.
You were part of the crowd. Let's just say that before you took on the stage yourself.
Yeah. And it was always I was never part of like a Twitch community ever. I was just like a lurker, just to try to learn the ropes, right, for a gamer. Like, see what the pros are doing, basically.
Baby steps.
Not there to I wasn't there to like meet other online friends or join any communities. It was just in and out, see what they're doing, copy them, and then try to practice
like a
myself.
serial lurker, if we can say that.
And then after the pandemic, the pandemic happened. We're forced to be at home. Nobody can go out, so I'm playing games with a lot of my buddies. We started playing more co-op games, because competitive games, when you're playing with friends, like they have to be around the same skill. And we had a lot of casuals that started playing, so we needed to play like noob friendly games, so we got into more co-ops on the co-op side. And I wanted to dabble in seeing what it would be like to be a streamer, and going into it, we don't know any of the struggles or challenges that comes with it, right? You're just like, well, you're playing games with friends already, why not just broadcast and see what happens? But what was funny was I always told my friends that they would be good streamers, because in my friend group, they're the more like goofy, wild ones, cracking jokes and stuff. I feel like I'm more of the serious one.
Oh yeah.
So I was always telling them like, hey, like, you guys would make good personalities. Like, I don't feel like I have a great personality to be on air, but I think over time, you know, what you see me now, it's kind of like developed. Yeah. I've always had a goofy side, so I wouldn't say that I'm like faking it at all.
I was gonna say, I was gonna say like Hydra is, let's not say telling lies, but like the way I see him play games, the enthusiasm that he has, like the passion, if we can say that, like he's really deserving of where he is right now, honestly.
Yeah, thank you. I think for me, it's like I want to be good at whatever I'm doing. I don't have to be the best.
Yeah.
But I want to be at least above average for whatever game I'm playing. Like I want to study it. I want to learn the mechanics behind it, that kind of thing. Whether it's competitive, or just like a co-op like Phasmo. Yeah. Like learning the ghost mechanics. You know, how do things work? How's it coded? How's the ghost coded to move? Mm-hmm. Those kind of things all affect like how my gameplay is.
And mostly like the Phasmo players do not only learn how the mechanics are coded, they study the ghosts, like what the Fae does, what the Banshee does, for example, what the Onryo does. Like you have to study each of them, you know.
Yeah, and there are content creators out there that definitely know way more than I do. Like some people know exact speed numbers of the ghosts, you know, like, oh, the Revenant moves at, you know, like 2.5 meters per second or whatever. For me, it's just like, okay, it's fast, and that's like good enough for me.
Yeah,
like,
I just go in and die, and this is why GR calls me his meat shield.
Yeah, so there's like different levels. There's like different levels of studying the game. I guess it's like once I feel like I'm adequate enough knowledge, then I don't need to know like the exact specific numbers.
Yeah. So speaking of numbers, and that's gonna come later. Before, actually, no. Sorry, ADHD brain. But like, where did the name hydrasung come from?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I've always played around with the names of different mythical beasts. So in the past, I was, you know, Bahamut from Final Fantasy. That's a classic one. I was Tiamat, actually, from when I was a kid. Tiamat is the mother of dragons, but I didn't know that before. But way back in the day when I was playing Final Fantasy 1, Tiamat was like one of the dragon bosses that you fight in Final Fantasy 1. So that I always thought that was cool, and that stuck with me. So like dragons, you know, dragons, mythical beasts, angels, that kind of thing. I was going by the name Seraph for a long time. Seraph being like an angel from the Bible.
Yeah.
Like and what I didn't like about Seraph was people would shorten it to Sarah, like Sera.
Seraph Jessica Parker.
Yeah, so I was like, well, I don't want people calling me Sarah because, you know, it gets kind of annoying after a while. So I was like, what's another cool name that, like, when you shorten it, you know, for Hydra, you know, you're thinking about the mythical multi-headed beast.
Yep.
Which is cool. I know there's also the negative connotation with the Marvel movies.
Yeah, Hydra also kind of reminds me of like the male counterpart of Medusa, but less with the stone thing, you know?
Oh, yeah, kind of in the same vein. Medusa's also a cool like name and character too, but that's definitely more like feminine.
Yeah.
But Hydra, the only downside I see with Hydra is that there's the whole Marvel thing, you know, Marvel movies, and people say Hail Hydra, and it's kind of like this negative thing.
I don't know about Marvel. I'm more a DC
fan. Okay, yeah. But I started using Hydra song because I was thinking like Siren's song. So she like
you turned it into song in the past,
Yeah, going back to like when I used to play Dota, you know, there's a Siren character in Dota, and their ultimate ability is the Siren Song. Siren Song is like a big mythology thing, so I was like, well, what about Hydra Song? So I actually used Hydra Song when I was playing World of Warcraft. So I was very serious in World of Warcraft. You know, I was doing Mythic raiding. I got CE, which is cutting edge, where you beat the Mythic boss before the next patch comes out, and it was a lot of grinding. But in World of Warcraft, my name was Hydra Song. And then on Twitch, I think I started as Hydra's Song, but then I wanted to do a clean cut, so I was like, well, what else can I'll just change it to Hydra's Song instead, like past tense.
Yeah. Because the song's over now, so.
Yeah. So I think the beauty of it is like people don't shorten Hydra to like hi.
Hi.
You know, like
how are you?
I wanted to be called Hydra, so it could have been Hydra anything, but then Hydra Song. it just kind of stuck, and then now people call me Hydra, and it's perfect.
Yeah. So you mostly do horror games and Phasmophobia, of course, but like as you were saying, you have dabbled into other games, but which other game is your favorite besides Phasmophobia?
Yeah, it's funny because I never played horror games before Phasmophobia. And I never would have expected to become like a horror game streamer, There's a lot of things I didn't expect about playing horror. For example, even the fact that there's like a cozy horror community. There's like this interesting intersect of players that like horror, but also like cozy games, whether it's like Stardew or Sims or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So I always thought that was really cool. But there are a lot of really, really good games out there. I think some of my favorites that come to mind would be like ever since I was a kid. Let's say like my favorite RPG of all time was Chrono Trigger. I played all the Final Fantasies, but for whatever reason, Chrono Trigger stuck out. And then as I got a little older, I had a PlayStation 1 at home, so I was playing Final Fantasy 7 was a great one. Castlevania Symphony of the Night really stands out, and then Metal Gear Solid were all like really awesome games.
I have Metal Gear Rising on the Xbox 360. I'm thinking of starting it now, but right now I'm like restarting the whole Kingdom Hearts franchise. I kind of finished the first one, so now I'm going back to the prequel. Instead of doing Kingdom Hearts 2, I'm gonna go do Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep.
Oh, nice. Yeah. So I started with console, and then we also had, at home I had like a crappy computer where we were playing like emulator games, like Pokemon on emulator and stuff, because I never had like Game Boy or any kind of handheld back then. So it was all on emulator. And then eventually I got into more PC gaming, so that would be, OG Diablo, Warcraft 2, that kind of thing. And then my first game like where I fell in love was probably Counter-Strike.
Oh,
I played a lot of Counter-Strike. Probably between Diablo 2 and Counter-Strike was like my first online game.
My favorite is Diablo 4 out of the Diablos, and Diablo 3 is what got me into the series actually.
Oh yeah. I know it's unfortunate that, Blizzard has kind of been flopping, and a lot of people didn't like Diablo 4. I think they're just getting too, I don't know, greedy, I think.
Repetitive and greedy, microtransactions and stuff. But
too
now,
greedy.
The new season, I've heard it's so good of Diablo 4.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I remember I had a lot of friends get into it, but at the time I was like, they're charging $70 here US, and you have to do a seasonal battle pass on top of that 70, and I just felt like it was too greedy for me.
I was part of the beta testing era back then, and then Blizzard gave me like, now you have drops, so yeah, because it was like selective, that's why.
Yeah, so I ended up playing a lot of CS for a long time, and then kind of got more competitive. And, back then you weren't on YouTube watching pros play or learning all the different smoke lineups and stuff like that. So you had to all develop it yourself, but it was a good time for sure.
Yep. So you're a Twitch partner now. Do you remember how it happened?
Yeah, I kind of remember my journey. Do you want me to go through like my whole what I remember from my journey?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I was playing I was mostly playing games with my IRL friends, right? So like my community knows IRL Chris, and then there's also IRL Henry. He hasn't been around in a while, but some of the OGs will remember IRL Henry like twerking in a hotel room with me.
Oh yeah, you also do travel streams. I remember now. Yeah.
I'm trying to get into more travel streams because it's pretty fun, but it can be kind of tiring too. But yeah, so we were actually playing. I would say our first main game together was World War Z, which is like this. It's like the zombie shooter. And what worked well about it was, well, first of all, it was one of the very first free Epic Store games. So like Epic has like weekly free games that they give out.
Yeah, true.
And this was during the pandemic. We picked up World War Z back in like 2020 or something like that. And we didn't play it for like an entire year because we were just playing Fortnite and other stuff, right? So at some point we got bored of Fortnite, and then we're like, hey, you know what? We got World War Z for free. Let's just try it out.
So it went from Fortnite to Board Night.
And then we never we didn't know what to expect going to World War Z. but it ended up being pretty fun.
Okay.
And then that's when I really started streaming. And I was chatting with, you know, IRL Chris and like, hey, if I start streaming, are you going to be okay having your voice on the stream? And like, I don't know if anyone's going to show up at all ever, but like, hey, at least we're already playing anyways, and we're going to be chatting. So it's like, we're bouncing conversation off each other, right? So there's no dead air. I think for new streamers out there, one of the hardest things to do as a new streamer is constantly be talking. Like that's the number one thing probably.
Yeah, I struggled with that a lot at the beginning, but now I'm like, I just, no matter what, like I just comment on what's been happening, or like, for example, oi, hey you, or for example, like, oh my god, don't hit me, or like, I really say silly stuff. For example, when I panic, I'm like, I don't exist, I'm a tumbleweed.
Right, exactly.
panic,
like you have to just keep talking. You have to talk to the point where you feel like you're annoying people.
Yeah.
And that's when you know you're doing it right.
Yeah.
So in the beginning, you know, nobody's good at just talking nonstop.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I think it was important to have friends in like a Discord voice chat, because if I'm not talking, they're saying something, you know, and then there's no dead air for when viewers come in. So
yeah,
I think World War Z was also a good start, because in total, like with no filters on the browse page, if you clicked into World War Z, there was probably only like 10 streamers at a time. So even if I had, you know, one viewer, which is myself, people would at least see my thumbnail. And then if they see my thumbnail, they have a chance to click into me, right?
Yeah.
Like let's say if you're starting out and you're doing Phasmo right now, you probably have to scroll down still a good amount just to find yourself. So you get kind of lost in the weeds a little bit. But with the game like World War Z, like people were gonna find me no matter what, if they were into that game category.
Yeah. So, what games you'd never see yourself playing on stream?
Never seeing myself playing on stream. Honestly, maybe like single player campaign games. I know a lot of people do, like like a Cyberpunk or a Witcher 3 kind of thing.
Yeah.
Just because I feel like my community is not used to it, first of all, and second of all, I realize that not every viewer can come to every stream. So if I'm playing a story game, they may like miss out on bits and pieces of it, and then they're gonna feel like if you watch me start a game and then you miss a big chunk of it and then you come in later, you're gonna miss that. You're gonna have a giant gap in like what happened, and then that may even make it so you don't care anymore, you know? Like, oh, I already missed part of it, so I'll just wait till he's on to the next game or something. Yeah.
So, how many hours per day or per week in general you spend on Twitch?
Do you mean Twitch, like any stream-related stuff, basically?
Everything, like lurking, maybe streaming, even chatting.
Yeah, okay. So, I think right now I'm working hybrid, so I'm going into the office maybe around twice a week right now. So when I am working from home, I'm always lurking. And then sometimes I don't, you know, sometimes I'm in and out of meetings during the workday, so I don't have time to say hi.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times now, if I say hi, a lot of people will, and it's a little annoying sometimes, because sometimes I just want to lay low and just be like, hey, how's it going? But sometimes some people will be like, oh my god, it's Hydra, and then like do a whole shout out and do like a whole song and dance. But sometimes I just want to stay under, you know, in the shadows and just be like, hey, how's it going? Can't chat very long, but you know, I'm here supporting you. So I'm always lurking. If you guys ever look in your chat channel, you know, chat viewers or whatever list, you may see my name in there.
Yep.
And I'm always lurking and supporting each other.
Yeah, but there's an annoying thing that Twitch does that like it won't let you lurk in more than 2 channels.
Yeah, it won't let you count as a viewer, right?
Yeah.
So you can be in a bunch of channels and a bunch of chats, but at most you'll count as a viewer in 2.
Yeah.
So that's a good point.
And sometimes when, like, for example, like I have like 7 tabs open and I'm modding in like 2. So even the ones I'm focused on don't get that, because I've chatted in like, let's say XYZ's stream, and then CDE is streaming. So XYZ gets to count me, while DYC, let's say those letters, I'm let's say VIP in DYC, but like XYZ and ABC aren't like counting me as a viewer, but I'm a mod there, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So
you probably have to refresh certain pages to get a certain order.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure how Twitch counts it, but one way that you can really tell is which are the channels that you're getting channel points into, or the bonuses for it.
Yeah. So you do a lot of IRL streams. What's the benefits of these, and what's different between IRL and gaming streams to you?
Yeah, I don't know if there's a real benefit. I think it's just fun. Like, it's fun. First of all, it's fun to realize that people are just gonna come watch you do whatever you want, right? Like, I remember back in the day, I was traveling for work, and I was like in Denver, Colorado, which is, I don't know, like a 2.5-hour flight from me, maybe, doing some work thing. And then at night, you know, I'd be in a hotel, and then I just did like a random hotel stream for my phone.
I do remember that.
I had maybe like 30 people watching me at the time. Like, I was just in a hotel room eating a pizza and like talking to chat.
Oh no, you did one recently, another one. That's what I remember. You did one in a hotel, maybe with some buddies, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I remember.
When I do have the time to sneak in one, I think it's a lot of fun. I think it's more of just like you really get to connect with the community on a one-on-one basis, especially when the group is smaller. Like, back then it was really cool because I was like, oh, holy crap, there's 30 people in the world that just want to watch me do like anything.
I freak out when I have like 9 viewers. I'm like, oh my god, I want them to be more, but I also don't want to look at the views. But then when I rate out, I'm like, holy Jesus. Like, the biggest one was 78 last time. Not last time, but like 2 months ago, when I had like 4 raids in a row. I'm like, I freaked out when I was like rating out, and like words escaped me because I didn't look and I didn't know how many people were watching me. And I was like, oh my god, I did a lot of fuck ups. I messed up in the game, and I'm like, oh my god, now I look stupid.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like a compliment that you're doing something right? That people are there watching you. And when you do have smaller numbers, it is easier to connect on a one-on-one basis. So you really get to know your viewers. They really get to know you, and you really like create real friendships that way, which I really like.
Exactly, yeah. So to the new people out there who are just starting streaming or are thinking about it, what's one advice you'd want to give them?
I would say definitely don't go into it wanting to make money as a goal. That's probably the number one thing. Like, if you're in it to try to make money, then you're doing it wrong. You know, your viewers are going to be able to sniff out that you're just trying to make profits, and they're just a tool to be used, and it's not going to work. But I would say the 2 biggest things are consistency, both in your schedule and like your game that you play. Like, there's a lot of people that do variety, and variety is fine. But I think variety is very difficult to grow. And when I say variety, I mean like different games. Like, maybe you could do a different game on every day of the week, but even then you're creating different types of audiences, whereas you want one main audience. And I was chatting with a friend about this recently, where I think it's easier to grow to, let's say, 50 viewers in a single game, and then afterwards you transition into variety, and maybe you'll lose half your viewers, right? And then you'll get down to 25 viewers in variety. I think that is still easier than growing from 0 to 25 just doing variety. Yeah. So I would say if your goal if your long-term goal is to do variety, at least start with a single game, just to build the community first, and then when you transition to variety, you'll still keep at least half of them, usually. Yeah,
that's what I noticed for myself as well, because I started off with like 2 or 3 or even 4 viewers. Now I was playing a game that nobody streams lately, the Simpsons game, and I've had like 15 people, even 28 the other day. I'm like, what? So that's very touching, and I really appreciate that.
So consistency and making sure you're streaming on your schedule. It's very easy to cancel stream. I think it's very similar to, let's say, working out or going to the gym or whatever. You know, it's very easy to be like, I'm tired today, I have an excuse, I don't want to do it, like, I'll just skip it, it's totally fine, nobody's gonna care. But like, this is, if you're trying to grow and you're trying to succeed, like, you got to put in the time, and it's very easy to say, no, I don't feel like streaming today. But sometimes you just have to do it, and you just got to stay on your schedule, because you want to make sure that people know. Like, I've been trying, my whole goal has been like, hey, I have this very consistent Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday night schedule. And I don't need to tell people what time I'll be on, because they should just know. But then even with being very consistent, there's still people that ask, like, hey, when do you stream? I forgot when you stream. Oh, I forgot it was a stream night, that kind of thing. So like, you can try your best, and there's still people that don't understand it. So if you're if you're not trying your best, then it's going to be even harder to succeed.
Yeah. Speaking of forgot, now there's a question that came to my mind. Have you ever forgotten a day in your life that you had to stream on that day? Has it ever happened?
I don't think so. I think right now, like, streaming is it's probably one of my highest priorities, but that's because it's also so fun to do. Because I'm seeing a lot of growth and momentum, so it feels like it's a thing in my life that's probably the most exciting thing that's happening in my life right now. So it's hard to forget. It's more of like, when you know it's a stream night, you're kind of excited and a little anxious for it, right? Because there's always this anxiety right before you click the go live button. I think there's always going to be a little hesitation. Like, am I ready for this? Am I ready to go on camera? Is anybody going to show up? I think that's a common thought, especially in the beginning when you start. But even now, there's well, maybe not today, but maybe like even a year ago when I was in, like the 50 to 100 range, it was still like what if no one shows up? What if I go live and do the starting soon screen, and it's on there for 5 minutes and then just like no one shows up. I think that's a thought that a lot of streamers have, and it's just one of those things where you just got to power through and do it. There's no way around it. You just have to do it.
Okay, now we're gonna go into the second segment, which is a lightning round / pop quiz. So do you mind telling me and the listeners what's your daily routine? Like something you always like to do has become regular now?
Yeah, so I'm always waking up early for some work meeting, like no matter what. My stream schedule is very late at night for me. So I'll usually go to bed around 2 a.m., let's say, and then I'm usually waking up around 8 a.m. for like a 9 a.m. meeting. So no matter what, I'm basically waking up tired. And then I immediately, brush my teeth, get ready, jump into a morning call. And then I start looking at work emails and stuff. And then when I do have time, I'll be rewatching my VOD, like my Twitch VOD, to try to look for things to clip. Because right now I'm also doing, I think over time, as I've become a content creator, I've started to do more and more things off stream. So like posting Instagram posts, Instagram stories, posting on Twitter, networking on Twitter, and then TikTok shorts
as well.
Yeah, so before I was doing daily uploads on TikTok to try to grow to get to 1,000 followers. Because if you get to 1,000 followers, that's when you unlock TikTok Live Studio, where you can start multi-streaming. So let's say you're streaming Twitch, and then you can also do TikTok at the same time, which I would say that has been one of the biggest things in terms of my success. It's once I introduced TikTok at the same time as Twitch, I was able to funnel TikTok viewers to Twitch, and I think that really gave me a giant boost in terms of Twitch viewership. So big shout out to TikTok Live, and thanks for letting me funnel. And they don't want you to funnel, right? They want you to keep viewers on TikTok. But I will say it's been extremely helpful funneling TikTok to Twitch.
But TikTok has like a very, very, very strict policy of like what you say. You cannot say Twitch. You can say the purple tube. For example, you cannot say dead, because my friend got like instantly cut off from the TikTok when they heard the word dead. You have to say, for example, instead of suicide, you say Sudoku. I've heard. And like unalive
and stuff like you can't. I think their goal is they want it to be a very child friendly platform. And because of that, they're like extra strict on it. But what was funny actually is the requirement used to be 3,000 followers. So I was grinding daily clips that I was uploading to try to get to 3,000 followers. And I remember this was around September of last year, because I had just gone to New York City. I was just in New York City. In New York, I was chatting with different TikTok agents. And I had just hit 3,000. I was working on getting a stream key rather than using Live Studio. But at the end of the day, I actually prefer Live Studio. It's better. It's also better for pushing. For TikTok to push your content out to other people. They prioritize people that use TikTok Live Studio over the stream key. And the stream key was kind of clunky because it's not like Twitch where you just have a stable one and you put it in your settings and then you're done.
Yeah.
It was like you have to copy and paste it every single time you're going live because it changes. It was like a dynamic stream key. It wasn't static.
Okay.
So it ended up being more annoying. So now I'm just using the vertical OBS plugin and then broadcasting a virtual camera to my TikTok live studio. So I still edit everything in OBS, but it just literally mirrors it onto my TikTok live studio, and that's been working pretty well for me.
Nice. So what's one of your favorite comfort food of all times?
My go-tos, I would say hot pot or shabu shabu. Shabu shabu is like the Japanese version of hot pot, but they're basically the same thing, right? It's like a meat fondue. You can think about it that way, but it's so good. Yeah.
Yeah. So speaking of food, what's the weirdest thing you've ever had?
Weirdest thing. First thing that comes to mind would be when I was in Seoul, South Korea years ago. I went to like their fish market, and they have like a live octopus that you can eat.
Oh my god!
So they'll chop it up, and it's like still wriggling on the plate, and then you pick it up with your chopsticks, you dip it in the sauce, and then as you're chewing it, you feel it moving in your mouth, and you can feel like the suckers on the tentacles like sucking in on the inside of your mouth. It's like sucking onto your gums. So that'll probably be one of the weirder ones.
Oh my god! I'm clenching my fist right now. Oh my god. Oh my god. I've had octopus before, but it was snuck in. I didn't know it was like so my cousin made like a special curry, so she wanted to try seafood with it, experimenting. So I had to remove all of the octopus. That was like very mini octopuses. So there was one that stayed there, and I had eaten it. I'm like, what am I chewing on? She's like, octopus. I'm like, why is it tasty?
Yeah, it has this like rubbery texture to it, right?
Yeah, I was like chewing and chewing and chewing. I'm like, I want to like get this out of my mouth, but it's delicious. And then I never tried it. So, what's one thing you tell yourself often?
I don't know if there's a quote that I tell myself often, but maybe either, just do it. Like, even if you're tired, even if you're cranky, whatever, just do it. Be consistent.
Yep.
Or, like, you're worth it. Because there is still a sense of, like, imposter syndrome. I don't think I've fully accepted where I am. Part of it is because, I am still getting like a boost from Twitch on the front page sometimes, and that was a result of hitting a certain goal level from their US hype challenge that they did back in, I don't know, November or whatever it was last year. I was part of the very first US hype challenge that Twitch hosted. We got to a certain level, and because of that, they were able to put me on the front page sometimes. Like, not on the front carousel, like not the spinning carousel, but I'll be like on one of the first lines that's like, hey, streamers you might enjoy. So because of that, I still feel like my numbers are definitely inflated still. But even without them, we might be, let's say, like in the 200 plus range.
Yeah.
But it doesn't feel real, I still sometimes feel like, hey, I'm like a 30 viewer shop, and I still want to keep that one-on-one, like more intimate connection with the viewers. But it's like having to remember, like, hey, you've not only done this, but you're still doing it today, and you just got to keep it up.
Yeah. So the reason I don't chat in your channel much, because one, I get overwhelmed by the numbers, because I have that like the fear of crowded places, if you want to say that. And plus, I have tendencies to like be it's not that I'm an attention whore. It's like I want to make sure that he got my hello, that he like saw that I could be okay with myself. Like I'm not spamming too much, but also the message went there. So that's why I just sneak a lurk sometimes, even when I'm at work.
Yeah, I think that's totally fair.
Yeah.
There's people that prefer smaller channels because you get the more personal one-on-one touch. Like every message is going to get read, right? And you'll get a response. Whereas some people maybe like bigger channels where they just like spamming emotes instead of like having an actual conversation. It's hard for me because I want to be able to respond to everyone, and I know that I'm going to miss messages. So like even when I first start my stream, like the first half hour or whatever, I'm catching up with chat. And even there, where I'm not even playing a game yet, right? I'm literally just looking at chat or looking at my preview. Sometimes I'll still go off on like a tangent and do some side story, and then when I look back, like chat has already moved, and I'm still missing chats. And I think if I tried to read every single line, then I would never catch up.
It will be
really.
like 7 hours.
Yeah, so I feel bad, but at the same time, I'm also really hopeful, or I really hope that chat understands that I can't read everything.
Yeah.
Because it feels bad to be ignored, you know? It's happened to me before too, where I go into even a friend's stream and I'll say hi and then it gets pushed away and then I feel like neglected, right? Yeah. So I understand the feeling, and I also understand for a new viewer coming in, like how do we make it as welcoming as possible? If you go into a club where you feel like everyone knows each other except you're the new person, like how do you make that first step to say hello? It's very scary. And that's how it feels when you go into like a bigger channel, right?
Yeah.
So I'm always trying to think of ways of like how can I make it a smaller barrier to entry where it's 100%. Like, hey, we're very friendly, we're very welcoming, you know, nobody's gonna bite. How do we get people to chat who are new?
Yeah, but there's something that Grandma Hoodie told me that I feel good about myself doing. That is that she told me, like, when I asked about you being on the podcast, she said, like, you didn't spam it. You did it like very respectively. You didn't say like, oh, at hydrasung every single 5 seconds. It's like maybe I had the chance that he noticed it at the time, but like I don't know. I would have felt bad if he didn't notice.
I see. Yeah, it's not I mean, there are some things that you should just keep in DMs too.
Yeah,
right?
I know.
Like trying to schedule something like this is probably difficult when you're on air with a bunch of other people.
Yeah. Plus, like I was kind of like anxious about it because like he is kind of like overcrowded with work and stuff, and I sometimes do things out of impulsivity, so I don't focus on what I'm doing. But also like I didn't want to be like stuff. How do I say the word? Like a bugger.
Like being
a bugger. Yeah, like I'm bugging someone.
Yeah, I understand. Like you don't want to be intrusive.
Yeah, intrusive.
Right?
That's the word. Yeah.
I think I do feel like as I've grown, people do start to get more distant because I think they do start to believe like, oh, this guy, you know, maybe he just got too much going on now. I don't want to chat with him. And I feel the same way in terms of like when I see my other streamer friends, like I feel like I don't reach out to them as much anymore because they're bigger. But I think it's important to remember too that, and I have to tell myself, that, like, hey, they're just people like me and you. You know, there's not really a big difference between us.
Yeah.
Like, literally, you know, numbers should not matter in the streaming game. Like, big streamer, small streamer, we all go through the same challenges. We all experience the same trolls, that kind of thing, right? We know, like, just being able to chat with another streamer to talk shop. Yep. Whether it's about like what your ad policy is, or how you entice new viewers to come in, or what, you know, it's. I think it's useful to have those conversations, and regardless of your stream size, I feel like if you want to reach out and you want to ask me any questions about how I do things, like I do have a nice Discord channel specifically to help other streamers, and one of the things actually. One of my first starts was when I started streaming, I learned a lot from Reddit, actually. So there's a Twitch subreddit where a lot of people go on and ask questions about how to stream and stuff like that, like beginner questions all the way to advanced questions. So when I first started, I was, you know, I'm on Reddit, I'm on the Twitch subreddit a lot, and then I started helping out as well. Once I learned how to do things myself, I would help other beginners. Yeah. And then the mods there actually noticed me, and then they invited me to become like an official community helper. So now I have like a VIP badge in the Twitch subreddit because they noticed me helping out, which is pretty cool.
Nice. So if you were ever to be any object or creature, real or fictional, what would you be and why?
I would say I always liked cheetahs the best. I think because they're like the fastest land animal, and I think because I'm not like the strongest, biggest guy, right? But I can be kind of quick and agile, so I feel like cheetah kind of fits me more there, where I can be like quick and agile is my go-to, I think.
That's nice. So what's your biggest pet peeve?
Pet peeve. Maybe if people, I would say if people give you false promises or like
False hope.
they're not true to their word,
I hate
right?
that.
So
I hate that as well. Yeah.
sometimes I understand like people, they don't want you to feel bad, so they'll tell you something that you want to hear. Or like, here's like an easy example. Like, let's say we're gonna plan to meet at 11 today to chat, and then you're running late, but you're gonna say, oh, I'm still gonna be there on time, and then I end up coming because you don't want to make me mad. You're saying I'm gonna be there on time, but you know you're gonna be late. I'd rather you just tell me that you're gonna be late, like that kind of thing, you know.
Yeah.
If you think about like meeting a friend for dinner, if they're running late, just tell me. I think we all have friends like this, but we will all have friends that say like, "Oh, I'm already on the way," but then they haven't even left their house yet, or something like that.
Or
you know?
they
Like,
haven't
that's a
even gotten dressed as well.
Yeah, exactly. But like they don't want to. It's like a white lie to them because they don't want you to feel bad. But I'd rather you just be honest with me.
Yeah,
and tell me.
I even hate even something worse than that. It's empty promises. Yeah.
That would be like if I said, "Yeah, we're gonna do an interview," and then we just never do it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I hate this to my core.
Yeah.
So, in your opinion, what do you think is the worst invention ever?
Worst invention ever?
Yeah.
It's hard to think of worsts. I mean, what is out there that's actually like useless, right?
Many stuff, for example.
Well, are you talking about things that actually you use like in your everyday life, or
They
like
can
just
be
anything?
Anything. They can be, for example, harmful, but we still use them. Stuff like that.
I mean, it could be like a kettle that points to itself, so that when you're pouring the thing, it like also burns your hand. Have you seen something like that?
I do watch a lot of Japanese anime and stuff, and they do showcase these. Yeah.
I guess it would be like joke products, I guess.
Yeah.
But that's because, you know, deep down, I am more of a serious person.
Yeah.
I think if anybody out there meets me in real life, especially on a one-on-one scenario, I am more serious than you see me on stream. In a group setting, I still like to crack jokes and try to get people to laugh, but I think on a one-on-one setting, it's more serious.
Yeah, but also you don't overdo it. You say like one joke and that's it. That's what that's the serious. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. Whereas on stream, you know, I feel like I'm very goofy and like dancing. And I think what's big on stream is I'm not insecure. So I'm secure enough where, you know, I don't care if I'm wearing wigs or whatever dumb outfit out there.
Yeah.
Because one, like there are other streamers doing it, so I don't feel that bad. And two, like it doesn't change who I am. And you know, you need to have that confidence, right? Even if you're faking the confidence, you fake it till you make it. I think that's very important.
And people love to see that type of content as well.
Yeah, I think people like to see the streamer have fun.
Yeah.
I think that's the big key.
Yeah.
If you're having fun, they're having fun.
Yeah. So if this was the last day on Earth ever, what would you do and how would you spend it?
Oh man, what's something that I have not gotten to do, right? Maybe I would try to do some sort of skydiving. Some sort of skydiving or sky gliding or something, just to see what it's like to like fly a little bit. But definitely things where, you know, you're risking your life that you wouldn't normally do. I think I would be a little bit more daring.
Yeah. So what will you do with $1 million?
Oh man, you know, 1 million used to sound like a lot, but now it doesn't sound like a lot anymore.
Yeah, I've been told that a lot. Yeah.
I think with inflation and stuff, it's changed a lot. But $1 million, I mean, this is gonna sound very boring, but I would probably invest it, and then I could live off the dividends and not have to work as much. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
There's a certain comfort in knowing that you don't have to work. You're working because you want to, and then that way, if your job treats you badly, you're like, you know what? I don't need this.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So, what's one thing you cannot live without?
Oh man. Well, the internet, I think. I think the internet. Have you ever had like a blackout in your city and like you can't use electronics and you just like don't know what to do,
so,
or your internet's out? And you just sit there.
Okay, so there's a huge story behind that. Where I come from, blackouts are like a daily routine here. If it doesn't happen, We're like, is the government okay? Honestly.
Is that difficult to stream then? Like if you're streaming and it cuts out?
No, I had the power go off when I was streaming yesterday, but I have like a UPS, like a battery, so it kept going. Yeah, so because we used to have like back in 2021, 7 hours of no power, and sometimes it was at night, and it was super freaking hot, so I had to sleep on the balcony.
Man.
Yeah.
Do you think most households have like a battery, like a UPS battery?
Not everyone, no, because like I was middle class. Now I'm like not even working class.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's how bad things are here.
Yeah, I would say like if you've ever been on like a long flight where you don't have internet and you're kind of trying to figure out what to do, it's just
sleep.
I don't. Yeah, it's one of those things where I don't think people realize how much time they do spend on the internet until they lose it.
Yeah,
and then for me, it's like, oh my god, like your muscle memory is to click on all these apps that require the internet, right? Like, all the social media apps, like you just automatically your thumb goes to it and you click it, and then I'm over there like swiping back to home, and then I'll just automatically click another app, and I'm like, oh god, I forgot I don't have internet again, like that kind of thing.
True. So, what's your comfort off-stream game that you love to play recently?
Oh, comfort off-stream game. I would say Hades probably. I don't know if you played Hades, but
I've heard of
Hades it's a roguelike. It's got great artwork. The movement is really smooth, and there's no like input lag or anything. I really like the gameplay. I think it has great replayability, and it has cool dialogue too. So it has everything. I'm very excited for the next Hades. Hades 2 is going to come out soon.
Yeah, I heard that.
But yeah, I definitely recommend it. It's a good one.
Yeah. So this question is divided into 3 parts. What's one of your all-time favorite songs?
All-time favorite song. I really like Red Hot Chili Peppers' "Other Side." I really like Incubus Drive, and I really like the Postal Service, Such Great Heights.
Nice. Now, same question, but with movies. What's one of your all-time favorite movie?
Oh, definitely The Dark Knight, the one with Christian Bale.
High five. I love anything DC. And what's one of your all-time favorite TV shows or series?
Okay, definitely grew up watching a lot of The Simpsons. So if you see on my stream, I have a lot of different gifts that you can send to the stream.
Why haven't we met before? Why are we best friends? I love The Simpsons more than anything, man. More than anything.
Yeah. A lot of my stuff is Simpsons. Yeah. And I used to say a lot of Simpsons quotes back then. It's been a while, but my other favorite would be How I Met Your Mother, probably. I've rewatched a lot of How I Met Your Mother.
Have you seen How I Met Your Father?
Yes, and it was disappointing.
I did not find it disappointing. I found it very unjust that Hulu canceled it.
Oh, really? I thought it was... I was watching How I Met Your Father and Abbott Elementary around the same time. Yeah. And I would say I was laughing so hard at Abbott and not at How I Met Your Father. So.
I didn't see it more as comedic than more of like delightful.
Okay.
Yeah. So, what's one thing you spend a lot of money on besides games?
Oh, that's a good question. Probably food. I spend a lot on food. I think life is worth living because of all the different cuisines that you can try, and I would say travel as well. Like travel for food, travel to experience new cultures and new foods. Yep. But for the most part, I try to do discounted travel because of the way the U.S. banking system works here. A lot of times, the banks here give out big bonuses. They try to entice new customers, so they give out big bonuses for you to get new credit cards. And if you're good with your credit cards, you can get points without paying any interest or anything like that. So you can kind of game the system. Yeah, you can kind of game the system a little bit to get a bunch of points for free on spend that you're going to spend anyways. So if you're smart about it, you get a bunch of points, and then you can travel at a heavy discount. And then you can save that money on the flight and spend it on food instead. Yeah.
So since you said like you're a food connoisseur or like you like food, have you ever tried Lebanese food before?
I feel like I have tried some form of lamb that was Lebanese. But I would not say it's one of my favorite cuisines.
Yeah.
I'm actually not big on
No
Mediterranean.
worries. No worries. Yeah.
I'm not big on Mediterranean
Yeah,
foods.
because we have like a huge variety. Like it's uncanny the amount of foods that we have. Like you would order one plate, but you would have 10 examples of it all on the table. Like additives, and like bonuses. Like, okay, before we start eating, there's hummus, there's French fries. Those you didn't even order. Those are on the restaurant. For example, like let's say you order like a lamb plate or anything. They give you like I don't know how to explain. Like they fill the table with food for you. That's one of our like like routines or traditions. Let's say. Yeah.
Would you say there's a lot of dairy in Lebanese cuisine, like dairy products, milk or butter?
Depends. Not all of them. For example, like our traditional food is fattoush, which is like a salad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like radishes with maybe breadcrumbs, or you can have like fried pita, or like I don't know how to explain it. Like it's a salad. It's a salad. I don't know the ingredients off the top of my head, but it's very delicious and very nutritious as well. Nutritious.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. So besides gaming, what are your favorite hobbies?
Besides gaming, well, it's hard to say because even before I started streaming, it was all about games for me. So I would say I'm definitely a gamer at heart. Outside of that, I used to play tennis a good amount. It's been years since, but that would be like my sport back in the day would be playing tennis. Otherwise, I don't know. I pick up things here and there, but there's nothing that I'm like super in love with. Like I did some road biking, so like cycling a little bit, but I wasn't like super in love with it.
Yeah.
I do, you know, I go to the gym here and there, but I'm also not super in love with it. I don't know. I guess traveling would be my next joy. Yeah, it would be my next joy in life.
Yeah.
After gaming.
Yeah. So if your life was ever to be a video game, what would it be named and why?
Oh man, I would want to literally be like Doom, like the OG Doom. You know, where you're just going around shooting demons and stuff. If I could be the main character and just like destroying demons and just like be super unstoppable, that would be pretty cool.
Maybe use a pun with your name, like Hydrasung, like Hydra and Doom, Hydrasung.
Hydrasung.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Unfortunately, the Hydra ones, dude. Before, one of my friends was like, "Oh, we'll call your community the Hydrates." It's not a great name. I'm like, why would people want to be called the Hydrates?
Hydrates.
It would be. There's also a subreddit called Hydro Homies, and it's funny because I call my community the Hydro Homies. So maybe the game would be Hydro Homies, but it would be everyone just drinking water because we all like water and we're Hydro Homies.
Or it could be like a water game, like Subnautica or those.
Yeah, could be like a play on Hydro.
Yeah. So if you had one special superpower, what would it be and why, and how would you use it?
I think it would have to be, it's tough between invisibility or like mind reading or mind control or mind reading. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
It's tricky. I would definitely use it for personal growth. I think, you know, being a Slytherin, if we're talking Harry Potter houses here.
I love that.
I think I would definitely try to have personal gain first, and then I would help out all my friends and family after.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm a Gryffindor, so...
So like once I'm in a good place, then it's like, okay, let's start helping others. But definitely it would help myself first.
Yeah. Who's your favorite Harry Potter character? Mine is, I don't know why, but I love Lord Voldemort.
What? That's your favorite character?
Yep.
I would say Neville Longbottom, because he was the true unsung hero of that story, because everything could have also applied to him.
Yeah. Have you ever played Hogwarts Legacy?
Yes, I actually really enjoyed it.
I love this game, honestly. And I've had a lot of shit given because of, like, I'm LGBT and I'm, like, streaming this game. And I've had a partner come into my stream and call me willfully ignorant because of that. Because I told him, like, okay, yeah, I know the controversy and I don't endorse it. But please, like, at least add me as a friend. He was like, oh yeah, but you're unreachable. I'm like, yeah, my DMs are closed. Do you know how many bots do you have on Discord? So he was like, oh yeah, so you're willfully ignorant. I'm like, no bitch, bye. Instant ban, instant ban, 7 reports, and he got a warning from Twitch. That's what I heard. Because he's a partner. So yeah.
Yeah, I remember all the controversy behind it.
Yeah.
I mean, I still enjoyed the game. I think they did a good job in world building.
Yep.
You know, like to actually see Hogwarts the castle run around, to see the land surrounding it. I think they did a really good job.
Yeah,
of that
and
game.
they're working on the
I hope
second
there's
one.
more.
They're working on the second one, I heard, but it's gonna be multiplayer this time.
Oh,
That's what I heard. Yeah.
That's gonna be very cool.
Yeah. So, what's the weirdest habit you got?
The weirdest habit I have, probably that I like to. When I'm in like a workout kind of mood, I'll work out with whatever I have next to me. So like I don't necessarily need to have the equipment. I just need to find something heavy. So even if it's like the side of a table and I can hang off of it, you know, I can do like pull-ups or whatever from the side of a table, or like I can pick up a bucket of kitty litter and then do like squats while holding a bucket.
Oh yeah.
You know, stuff like that.
Yeah. Using 1 or 2 words, how would you describe 2023?
I would say it passed by really fast. So fast is one of them. And growth. Growth is big.
Mine would be either what the 3 points or fuck off. Yeah.
I think it's hard. It's hard for me to even remember the difference between 2022, 2023, just because they still all feel kind of like post-pandemic, you know,
continuous,
a little bit.
Yeah, continuous.
Yeah, like there's not a clear gap.
Yeah, I'm still processing 2021. 2020 got corrupted in my head, so I moved on.
I know.
Yeah. So, what are some of your plans for the rest of 2024?
2024, I am trying, because 2023 passed by so fast. I would say for this year, I'm really trying to be better about just making plans ahead of time, having my calendar like with events on it.
Yeah.
And then that way, when the time comes, I'll just go. You know. Otherwise, I think it's easy to put your head down and work all day, and if you don't plan anything, nothing happens, and then boom, like the year's over. So
yeah,
I'm planning on doing a big Asia trip this year in August.
Nice.
So I'm gonna go visit Singapore, Malaysia, and Vietnam for like over 2 weeks.
Oh wow.
So I'm very excited about that. I'm still booking the things here and there, but I think what's really cool too is I'm gonna be able to meet some communities or some members of my community in those areas. So that might be kind of cool.
Nice. What days in August?
It's like the first. It's like the maybe the second and third weeks of August. So
wow.
Right in the middle, basically. Yeah. Early to mid August, and then of course we have TwitchCon coming up. TwitchCon is going to be, you know, September 20th to 22, I think.
Yeah.
That's also going to be really exciting. It's just really cool to meet people.
Oh yeah.
And then I'm going to try to practice more IRL streaming when I'm in those areas too.
Yeah. So final question in the segment: something you always wanted to learn but you didn't find time for.
I would say another language. Like if I had nothing else going on, if I had $1 million, right, and I could retire or whatever,
yeah,
I would probably want to learn, you know, either Japanese or Korean. I think that'd be pretty cool. Just because like language is one of those skills where you learn it once and you can use it for like the rest of your life.
Yeah. I am fluent in, like, besides my maiden language, which is Lebanese Arabic, I'm fluent in French and I can speak English. And I know a little bit of Russian and a little bit of Spanish. So.
Wow, how did you learn French?
We're a French colony.
Oh, so would you say most people there do know it?
Yeah. It's like a basic thing, like here, like it's like math is in French, science is in French in school, so you hear it everywhere.
So would you say by default everyone is trilingual at least, or do you think English is more of a rare language?
English is more broken here. Like not all the people like have the real wording for it. For example, this is how English sounds here. Like this is very bad. Like this is the way they talk here, and it annoys me.
I see.
Yeah. But most people here either speak Spanish as a third language or English.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, it's. I mean, here in America, most people only speak English. So
Yeah, America
it's
doesn't
always
have.
very cool.
America doesn't have like a main language. I've heard.
Yeah, it's very cool. It's very cool to be multilingual.
Yeah. Okay, now this is segment 3. This is kind of like my favorite segment in the whole show. As I said, it's like a mini game, like sleep with, kill, or marry. It's called delete, uninstall, like play once and uninstall, or play, like play forever. Delete, play, uninstall. This also includes delete is like remove completely from everywhere. It doesn't exist.
One, right?
Yeah. So uninstall, play once, all the way through. Maybe give it a try and then uninstall. You don't have to play it all the way through, and then play, which is like you'd keep and you'd play constantly. This also includes the whole franchise.
I gotcha.
Yeah. Call of Duty, Counter-Strike, Battlefield.
Okay. Delete Battlefield, uninstall Call of Duty, play Counter-Strike.
Okay. Apex, Fortnite, and Valorant.
Ooh, those are good ones. Delete Apex.
Yeah.
Uninstall Valorant and play Fortnite. It's kind of funny because I used to play Valorant a lot, and I got up to Immortal. I was Immortal 2, so I was very serious with it. But I would say, in terms of toxicity,
yeah,
probably better to play Fortnite.
I've heard a lot of that. PUBG, Overwatch 2, and Halo.
Ooh, okay. Delete Overwatch 2. First of all, it's a huge scam, okay? They took away beloved Overwatch 1. They put in Overwatch 2 because they're going to give you PvE, single player, whatever it was, and then they canceled that part of it. So literally just a money grab for Overwatch 2.
Yep.
So delete that altogether. Uninstall PUBG, never got into it, then play Halo. Everyone loves Halo.
Well, we can't say that Overwatch 1 should be deleted because it doesn't exist anymore. So, basically, yeah.
Blizzard, man.
Yeah. Quake, Doom, or ESO, Elder Scrolls Online.
Oh, this one's tough for sure.
Oh, it's gonna get tougher.
I would just keep in the same order. So delete Quake, uninstall Doom, and play ESO.
Okay. Lethal Company, Content Warning, and Among Us.
I never got too super into Lethal Company, so I think that's an easy delete for me.
Okay.
Content Warning's pretty new still, and then Among Us is like I would uninstall Content Warning because I think it probably does get repetitive after a while. Then you can play Among Us for a long time.
Okay. Baldur's Gate, Elden Ring, Diablo.
Uninstall or delete Elden Ring, uninstall Baldur's Gate, and play Diablo.
Okay. Valheim, Stardew Valley, and Minecraft.
Delete Valheim, uninstall Minecraft, play Stardew, which is funny because I want to get into Stardew, but I haven't.
Okay.
I'm like scared to get sucked into it because I know it's gonna take a lot of hours. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I do want to play.
Yeah. So The Sims, Disney Dreamlight Valley, and Palia, or Palia, however you want to say it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Delete Disney, uninstall Palia, and play Sims.
Have you ever played any of The Sims before?
I have. I played it a little bit. I think they're also a little greedy with all the expansion packs.
I agree.
But I know there are ways to get the expansions without having to pay.
Oh yeah,
we won't talk about that.
I do that because like I've had a huge mishap with EA where they said like, where are you located in the world? Because I got banned for just inputting my password wrong one time, and they were like, oh, you're in Lebanon? Sorry, we don't cover that area. I'm like, well, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm not gonna tell you, but thank you for the help. So ever since 2016, I pirated the game, and I gladly say it because they were assholes to me. I'm sorry about the word assholes, but like that's what they were. And then they were like, I tried reaching them later on through emails. They were like, "Where are you located?" I'm like, "I'm in Lebanon. You've been through that before." They're like, "Ah, yeah, right. Sorry, we can't help you. Just go suit yourself." I was like, "Go fuck yourself." That's what they told me.
Yeah, and then they're constantly coming out with new expansion packs that you have to pay for, so I think it makes sense.
Yeah. Plus, it's like to own everything in The Sims 4. It's like $1,000 to $100.
Yeah, they know what they're doing.
Yeah. Plus, they said that The Sims 4 is gonna keep on going, but The Sims 5 is gonna be out next year. It's gonna be free to play and with multiplayer. But they're gonna keep the cash grab going with The Sims 4. So,
For sure.
Yeah. So, Phasmophobia, Demonologist, Devour.
Delete Devour, uninstall Demonologist, play Phasmo.
Obvious answer. So, Destiny 2, Dead Space, and Mass Effect.
Delete Dead Space, uninstall Destiny 2 or Destiny, and play whatever the last one was. The last one sounded the best to me.
Dead Space and Mass Effect.
No.
Mass Effect.
Mass Effect. Yeah, play Mass Effect.
Yeah. Visage, Madison, Five Nights at Freddy's.
This one's interesting. Okay, I'll probably delete Visage because everyone says it's like the scariest game they've ever played, and then uninstall Madison.
I've seen scarier.
Play Five Nights.
I've seen scarier. Dead Island, Left 4 Dead, and Dying Light.
Oh, Left 4 Dead is a classic, so delete Dead Island, uninstall Left 4 Dead, and play. Or sorry. Delete Dead Island, uninstall Dying Light, play Left 4 Dead.
I was gonna say, like, is he gonna play Dying Light? Because basically, Dead Island and Dying Light have the same producers. But
Left 4 Dead is a classic.
Yeah.
You know, you're like shooting like an AK-47 at the zombies.
yeah, I haven't played it yet, but I wanna like delve into it. Yeah. Don't Starve Together, The Forest, and The Quarry. One of these is my favorite game ever.
Hold on, Don't Starve Together. What was the other one?
The Forest and The Quarry.
Oh, the Quarry's like a story game, right? I think. And then the Forest is kind of like a build a base with zombies, cannibals.
Yeah. And Don't Starve Together is like my favorite game of all times. It's like a top-down, hand-drawn survival horror game.
I've installed it and played it on my phone before, but I'm not like good. I've never like gotten really
I have
deep into it.
over 1,000 hours on console and PC combined.
I haven't played any of these games honestly, so I don't think I can say. But story, I would probably just delete the story one because I'm more competitive over story games. And then I would probably prefer first person, honestly, because of The Forest. I would prefer the first person view.
Yeah.
I think I'm just more used to first person.
I don't like first person. It renders me sick.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So DBD, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Evil Dead the game.
Uninstall Evil Dead. Or delete Evil Dead, uninstall DBD, and then play Texas Chainsaw.
For me, it's delete DBD from existence, please. And then play TCM, because I've never played it. And then, or uninstall TCM. And then play the Evil Dead forever, because I freaking love this game. It's more
Evil
fun.
Dead game.
It's more
I remember a lot of people playing it when it came out. I don't know, is it still big right now on Twitch?
I don't know, but I want to replay it again. So Alan Wake, Resident Evil, and The Evil Within.
I actually don't know The Evil Within, so I'm gonna delete that.
Okay.
And then Alan Wake, play once and uninstall, and then Resident Evil play.
Okay. So we're back kind of into like the unalive thing with Dead Rising, The Mortuary Assistant, and The Walking Dead.
What is Dead Rising? I'm not familiar
It's
with these games
kind
as
of
much.
something like Dying Light and Dead Island and those, but goofier.
Okay. And then Walking Dead? What's that one?
It's based off the series.
It's based off the series, okay.
Yeah, anything, even the Telltale games with Walking Dead, where like it's like point and click.
Oh, yeah, I've seen those. Okay. Yeah, I would delete Dead Rising, uninstall Mortuary Assistant because even though it's a lot of fun, there's not that much replayability with it, and then play Walking Dead.
I do recommend trying Dead Rising, by the way. It has like 4 or 5 games, 5 installments, but it's super ridiculous fun. Okay, Project Zomboid, 7 Days to Die, and The Last of Us. Hello?
Let me think about this,
sorry.
yeah. Zomboid. I do like Zomboids.
Yeah.
Actually, when I was planning on starting to play Phasmophobia, I was between playing Phasmo or Project Zomboid as like what my main game was gonna be. I remember looking at the different stats on Twitch to be like, oh, which one do you think I can get more viewers in and that kind of thing. So kind of funny to think about it now. I mean, they all have good replayability, but
Yeah.
it's tough. It's really tough. I would say delete The Last of Us.
Okay.
I know it's blasphemy. Uninstall 7 Days and play Zomboid.
Okay, so we're down to our last few questions. Little Nightmares, the Alien series, and Silent Hills.
Ooh, okay. I would keep it in that order. Delete
Okay.
Little Nightmares, uninstall Alien, play
Okay.
Silent Hill.
Okay, Fall Guys, Party Animals, It Takes Two.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Delete Party Animals, uninstall It Takes Two, and play Fall Guys.
Fair enough. Cyberpunk 2077, GTA, and Saints Row.
Delete Saints Row, because I know it's basically GTA, but like a joke version of it.
Goofier, yeah.
And
more adulty.
uninstall. Oh man, GTA and Cyberpunk. I would say uninstall GTA because Cyberpunk, like, if they expand the Cyberpunk, what's it called, like the franchise, and make more games. I really like that theme, right? Like the Cyberpunk theme. I think it's really cool.
Can you play in third person in Cyberpunk though? Or
I don't think so. Maybe there's a mod that lets you do it, but right
I
now,
hope
no.
so. I hope so, because otherwise I would never play it.
Yeah, that game,
Yeah.
it's a lot of fun, and it's
Yeah.
very beautiful.
Yeah. So the last question is Assassin's Creed, Uncharted, and Tomb Raider.
Oh, okay. Probably delete Uncharted, and then uninstall Assassin's Creed and play Tomb Raider.
Okay. So we've come down to the last segment, and I've asked you about which mental health topic or subject or even life experience you'd want to talk about, and you said streaming experiences. The segment is all yours, so let's talk about streaming experiences. Like, you can start from the beginning. I'm listening.
Well, I would say, especially after joining Twitter, on Twitter, you know, the Twitter feed is like the algorithm. It's set to whatever content that you're enjoying, right? So I started talking about Twitch stuff on there, and then it starts feeding me all these other Twitch streamers. So my entire Twitter feed is all Twitch stuff, basically, from other streamers.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest trends that I'm seeing is how many content creators are really struggling out there mentally. And then how many also are disabled, or whether it's like a invisible illness or like a physical illness, and they can't go out and they can't get regular jobs, so they have to stream, kind of thing. It's like a fallback for gamers that also, are disabled a little bit. But I would say mental health is like one of those huge issues that's plaguing content creators out there. And it's really tough because people don't really talk about the downside. I mean, people complain a lot on Twitter, and I think it's warranted, but there's not like an open forum for people to chat about it.
Yeah.
And it can be really difficult, coming from a place now where, hey, even at my size, like, I don't think I can go full time. I don't think it's still not enough to go full time. I'm probably still making under minimum wage, even at my size now. So like for someone that really depends on it, they can't go out and they can't get a regular job because of their illnesses. It's like, I don't know, like what, there's no solution for it that I can think of, but I mean, it's tough, you know, like it has to be, streaming should be a supplemental fun thing and not your main role. But for some people, it has to be your main role. And it can be a spiral downwards. And I think the worst thing that you can do is take your love of gaming and drag that down with you when you're struggling, trying to survive and stream as a, stream for a living. Like, you should be gaming and streaming out of fun, not out of necessity first. And then maybe if you grow to a point where then you're like, oh, hey, maybe I can sustain myself and make this a full-time thing, then you move on. But you don't want to start off with it, you know what I mean? Like, gaming is like a love that you have probably as a child all the way to now. And if you turn that into I have to game to survive, you're going to be disgruntled and upset, and then you're going to lose your love of gaming. And I think that's a big no-no.
Yeah, but also the burnout can happen at any time as well.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think people can stretch themselves too thin, you know. You're trying to do too much at once. Whether I think networking is a big piece of it. So some people might feel like they have to be in every person's chat at all times, always chatting, always responding on Twitter threads, whatever it is. But yeah, reminding yourself to take it in moderation. And that's one of the difficulties of being like self-employed too.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't work hard, then nothing's going to happen. So you have to work hard.
Yeah.
But then you have to find the right balance.
Plus even like the pressure happens when you're like a mod as well, and you're like a VIP in that channel, and at some point you start to dip out for a week. You are not able to tell them why you dipped out, let's say, and then you come back to either them either communicating with you, or most of the time people don't communicate. They just like take away that privilege from you without asking why, or one small fuck up like leads to this. So
I don't agree with the streamers that they feel like a sense of entitlement, where like mods are unpaid volunteers, right? And we haven't talked about mods at all, but mods are really the unsung heroes.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of OG mods from way back in the day that there's no real upside to getting rid of old mod. Like, even if they're inactive, when they do come in, it's awesome to see them, you know? And the community may not know them as much anymore, but it's always cool to see your OGs. So I don't see any upside to like removing a mod just because they're inactive. And I think it's wrong to have this sense of entitlement where it's like, hey, you weren't here, I need you here, I need you doing things for me. But it's like, you know, it's an unpaid volunteer thing. So
yeah, so it's also difficult to do that when you like, for example, I have impulsivity, as I said, and you sometimes can like fuck up in a way like like without you even willing to. You can, for example, spam commands or do stuff that has got me in trouble because of that, and that person knows that I have impulsivity, that I try to control myself, but they also do that in my channel, and they troll me with that, and I'm okay with that. But when it comes to them, it's like, oh, you're messing with my stream flow, I had to unmod you. I'm like, I'm cool with that, but then what ticked me off is that they banned my number.
I think it's important to talk through it offline or like off stream and talk about expectations, right? Like, everyone mods differently, so even setting down like a general guideline or baseline for like what should you do when like a troll or a spammer comes in? What do you know, maybe some people do immediate ban, maybe some people just do a timeout first and then a warning. So just setting down ground rules, making sure everyone's on the same page.
Even for mods.
I think, communication is key, right? Like, talk to your mods. They're there, the mods should be there to support you. And mods are like the first ones to troll the streamer, and I think that's fine. Obviously in moderation, not like overboard, but just talk it out, you know. Communication is huge.
I know that, because like they went and like I was like, I'm fine with like getting VIP, but like you banning my number just because I did that is not a way to say like, okay, I hate you, just go fuck yourself, or go fuck off, or something. Like, I've had
a bit of an overreaction, for sure.
Instead of like them talking to me
communicating like, Lucifer, you've done this here, please just keep it down a notch, take it down a notch, instead of like calling your mod just a random person in chat when they ask a question. That's disrespectful, like, honestly. So that triggered my anxiety a lot.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fully feel that.
Yeah. So is there anything else you'd want to add to the subject?
No, I feel like we touched on a lot today. I mean, we've been chatting for what, like an hour 20 or something. It's pretty good chat.
It hasn't felt an hour 20. I really, like, honestly, Hydra, talking to you felt like I've known you for years, honestly.
Yeah, you know it's good when the convo just flows too. But I mean, you know, I've been watching your other podcast episodes as well, and you got a lot of great guests on there. So
yeah,
thank you so much for having me.
I've been doing it since 2020 here in my country. I started with a lot of celebrity friends, and I've made a few of them that stayed on till this day, because I ended in January of last year due to the Spotify Arabia contract not kind of expiring, but like I'm like I've been doing this for like 3 years now, and I'm getting bored of and sick of like celebrities being like, oh, I'm better than you, oh no, you're not known, I can't be on your show if you're not known. I'm like, they have this mentality here, and I'm kind of like starting to get sick of it, and begging for celebs to be on my show. I'm not begging anyone. So
I'm sure there's also streamers out there who are like that, you know. But
I know. This is why I evaluate people before I ask them.
Yeah.
Because I do have a lot of, like, a big lineup, and I want to just get them all in, but I also want to like expand the show to dominate, like go on through at least till December, at least.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's important, like, if I can leave you with some last words, or whoever's listening, you just gotta stay humble, you know. Stay humble.
And guys, make sure to go check out hydrasung. The episode title is the handle on Twitch. Amazing content creator, amazing person, very witty Phasmophobia player, by the way. And I've learned a few stuff from lurking, even if I can't interact with chat, because not only I get overwhelmed, as I said, but like I don't like to go unheard, or like just as the hi, I don't like to spam that, because I don't want my message to get deleted and like called, oh no, you're spamming your messages, because I've been there before. But like, go check out Hydra, go give him a follow, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much.